Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I filmed one of these videos last year that I quite enjoyed making. However, I think I looked back on it the other day and out of the 25 books that I put, I genuinely think I read 5, which is a really bad total. So this year, I'm hopefully going to do better. I did just count, and there are 21 of them, which I think A, is more attainable, and B, all of these books I already own, so there's no need for me to go buy them, which is already important for me because I set a rule for myself this year after I realized that I'd accumulated so many unread books. I just basically am disallowing myself from buying new books unless I've read 5 from my physical TBR, and this does not include rereads. I don't know how long that rule is going to last or if I'm going to manage, but I know that I technically have enough books to get through the year. But of course, as I also like to consume book videos, I get more recommendations, and so there are books on my radar often. But this year I just want to really reduce that physical TBR. Although I do own all these books, they're not all with me, so I'm gonna make the editing of this video a bit harder on myself, but more cohesive, and I'm just gonna put a picture right here to talk about every book. Also, I don't think I'm going to give summaries because mostly I don't really remember, and I like to get into books without knowing too much. So if there's no summary, that's why. So yeah, let's get started. First book on my 2026 reading list is Martyr by Kaveh Abkar. It is a crime that I haven't read this. I've had it physically since May or April, maybe even March, and I still haven't read it. I haven't picked it up. I've talked about this before, but whenever a book interests me a lot and I have a confident feeling that it will be a favorite, I tend to push reading it as much as I can. So this year I'm not going to do that. Next book is Department of Speculation by Jenny Offill, and this was recommended by Paul Mescal, which is how it came on my radar, and it was in a interview with Jack Edwards, and he said the nicest quote, and ever since I've just been thinking about it so much. It's a really short book. Ironically, this is my last book purchase of 2025. It sounds like it will be right up my alley, and I'm really excited to read this. I've been thinking about it so much ever since I have bought it. Then is Outline by Rachel Cusk, which I think might have been in my list last year because I bought it in 2024, but I was trying to focus on reading my 4 Elena Ferrante books before I got into another literary fiction series trilogy and before I dived into a new author. So I didn't read it last year, and also it's to me a summer book, so I need to wait till summer to read it, but this year I will tackle it. Then is If Beale Street Could Talk by James Baldwin. I haven't read a Baldwin since 2022, I think, which I don't even know how that happened because I really do love his writing, but at the same time I'm happy that I've given it so much time because I think I am more mature and also enjoy how books are written more than I did back then, and so I think I'm going to enjoy this one even more now. I am hopefully going to read it in the near future. Then is a classic. Last year I think I read a few classics and I was really proud of myself, so I want to continue on that journey, and so on my list is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I actually already have a sense of her writing because I read an essay by her for one of my classes, and she's a very good writer, and I really want to watch the film, but I just need to read the book first. So either I'm going to read it soon or I'm going to leave it for spooky season, which might be what happens, but as long as I read it this year, I'll be happy. Then I have what is going to be my long August read. For some reason, I associate August to reading a long book, and this year I'm going to try to read East of Eden by John Steinbeck. I haven't read any Steinbeck. Really want to get into his work. I would love to also read Of Mice and Men. I also own The Red Pony and Pearl by him, so there is really no excuse. I'm just always more on the fence with reading male authors, especially when they wrote back then, because I'm scared to see how women are portrayed, and I know that I need to separate time where it was written with the actual condition of women, but it's really hard. But yeah, I think East of Eden, hopefully I'm gonna love it. I've only heard amazing things. Another classic that I am definitely reading soon before the movie comes out is of course Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. My roommate did read it recently and she really disliked it, so we'll see how I feel, but I'm curious to watch the movie nonetheless, although I know it has a lot of discourse surrounding it with people being very unhappy about how it's portraying the book or just the adaptation in general. But since I haven't read the book, I think I will have an easier time separating both works. Yet another classic is Anna Karenina. I've been wanting to read Anna Karenina probably since I've started reading again a lot, and that was 2019-2020, and I've never picked it up because it's so long and I was intimidated. But after I read White Nights by Dostoevsky, I kind of broke this barrier that I built myself with Russian authors. For some reason, I thought it would be really hard to grasp and understand them. Hopefully this isn't the case, and either way, I really want to read it, so that will be one that I tackle. Another long book is The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. I read The Secret History last year, and to be honest, I've always had more of an inkling to read The Goldfinch than The Secret History, so I'm really excited to get into The Goldfinch. I actually read, I want to say, a fifth of it back in 2021, and I never continued it, but I have really good memories of it, so I'm sure I'm still going to enjoy it. A book that is more recent on my physical TBR is Checkout 19 by Claire Louise Bennett, which I bought at the Shakespeare & Company bookstore in Paris after I read the back, and if I remember correctly, it does talk about writing, and that is something that I really enjoy reading about. I also love the cover of this book. I think it's one of my favorite covers. It reminds me of a Coco Mellors cover. Talking about Coco Mellors, Cleopatra and Frankenstein is on my list. I read Blue Sisters by her in 2024 and I didn't enjoy it very much, so this one has fallen off my radar, but I still really do want to read it, so I'm going to tackle it this year, hopefully. The reason that I wanted to read it in the first place was the comparison it got with Normal People, but I also can imagine Coco Mellors writing this story in a way where I care more than I did with Blue Sisters. Then we have a book that I again bought pretty recently, and that is The Piano Teacher. I forgot who the author is, but I've obviously heard a lot about the movie, and it's a movie that I want to watch. This year I also want to watch a lot more movies and educate myself with film because I'm super dense about films. I only watch the most accessible things, but I really do want to watch The Piano Teacher because it's a film that is highly talked about, and obviously as a reader I must read the book first. Then is All Our Yesterdays by Natalia Ginzburg, which I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, I came across this book from reading an article which was Elena Ferrante talking about books that she loved and kind of giving her recommendations. And this one is also set in Italy, I think during World War II. I'm really excited to read it because if Elena Ferrante recommended it, it's probably a good book. Then is Bad Behavior by Mary Gateskill, which upon just looking, it's a short story collection. I thought it was a full novel, but for some reason in my head, I've attributed this book to be a mix of Gossip Girl and Saltburn. I don't know that it is anything like that. If it is, I will say it on the screen, and if it's not, I will also say it on screen. But either way, I think it talks about subjects that I always find interesting reading about, because I love to get new perspectives on things and see events written in new ways, etc. Then is The Princess of 72nd Street, which was full on a cover buy, and I love the Modern Penguin covers. They're so good. I want to buy every single one of the books, even though a lot of them are not rated really well, but this one is, and I think I'd seen a TikTok that was recommending it, and I just remembered it sounded really good. Have no clue what it's about now, but still do want to read it really bad. Next on the list is On the Calculation of Volume. I have the first two books in this septology. I don't even know if that's a word. I'm intimidated by the Groundhog Day trope because I just have a feeling that it might be too redundant, but at the same time, I'm sure that's the challenge that the author was tackling as well, so I think it might not be too bad, especially considering the fact that there are 7. I also remember when I bought it, the bookseller was really excited and she was so happy that someone was buying it. Still really excited to read that. Then we have another book that I know for a fact was on my list last year, and that is Sula by Toni Morrison. I still haven't picked it up. I'm just really intimidated. I'm scared that I'm not gonna get it. I'm scared that it's gonna be too complicated. I'm scared that I'm not gonna love it, even though I feel like I will. I don't even know if it's the best Toni Morrison to get into Toni Morrison, but I remember reading a passage of Beloved for one of my classes, and that was really cool, and I liked that, so there's no reason why I wouldn't like Sula. I'm just worried. Then I think is also a book that was on my list last year, and that is Small Worlds by Caleb Azuman Nelson, which, to be completely honest, I already read part 1 of, which is about 20 chapters, and I was reading that back in April as well. Really was enjoying it, but I wasn't enjoying it to the fullest potential. As I was reading it, I knew that if I was reading it at a different time, I would love it even more, and I love his writing so much that I just put a pause. It was also during my exam season, so I was quite busy, but yeah, I do really want to get into it this year and finish it, and that will also make waiting for his next book a bit easier and less long, hopefully. And then second to last is Mayflies by Andrew O'Hagan, or by Andrew O'Hagan, Scottish author, I believe. I know that it's a story about friendship and music, and it's set in Scotland. I don't think I've read a Scottish author, don't think so. But considering how beloved this book is and how much it was praised, I think I'm going to really enjoy it, which is why I haven't picked it up. Yeah, I think I'm gonna love it so much. It might be a new part of my personality, and so I've just been pushing it off, as I always do. And similarly, another book that I've talked about before that has similar themes is Juno Loves Legs by Carl Geary, which that is an Irish author. We love Irish authors in this household. Also a story on friendship, maybe on love as well. Both of these last 2 books kind of remind me of normal people, even though I haven't read them, just in the way that they seem to talk about close relationships very intensely and intimately. So I should love both of them, and I do really want to read them sooner rather than later, which is why they are on the 2026 list. And that is the whole entire list. I hopefully will get to these books this year. Considering the fact that I'd only read 5 out of the 25 last year, I'll be happy if I read 11. 11 out of 21, I think that's a good ratio. Ideally, I will read all of them. But it's also nice to have this kind of list, because I know that when I don't know what to read next, I can always look back to that and have my next read picked out already, which makes reading a bit easier sometimes. But I completely forgot that I'd had this list last year, and so I didn't do that until pretty much the second half of the year. But at least all of these I already physically own, so there's no reason for me not to be reminded of them, because I will physically see them in front of me. And yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what's on your 2026 reading list. I'm really curious about that, and I would love more recommendations for the future. Yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day or night, and I'll see you soon. Bye!